Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Prelims 2026 series where we discuss the most important aspects, the tips and tricks to help you crack the civil service examination of 2026. In the part 4 of the series today, we will be discussing about the common mistakes and the right preparation strategy required for CSAT, which I feel is the make or break in the civil service preliminary examination. Having a strategy, a proper mindset and strategy to crack the CSAT part of the examination also is truly very important. Nowadays, as per the facts, a lot of aspirants who score really well in the GS1 paper in the preliminary examination also don't crack the CSAT paper. It's not about whether you have a good background in maths or reading comprehension, but it's about constant practice, because people who are very confident with respect to math or aptitude also are not able to crack the CSAT part just because they have not given enough practice or understand the relevance of the CSAT part of the examination. Even in my preparation, I would say that in the first attempt, CSAT was one of the hurdles that I also faced. And that time I felt that reading comprehension was one of my strong areas, and I gave very less focus on the math or the aptitude part of the examination. So my strategy while I was answering the question was that I'll start off with the reading comprehension questions, and I'll try to patiently answer it, and after I have answered the reading comprehension question, almost all of it, I'll go to the max wala questions. So what happened in that situation is that when there was time constraint and I was answering the math questions, I was already under pressure conditions because I have answered the reading comprehension questions, but by the time that the exam was nearing to its end is when I was focusing on the math part of the questions, and already I'm so stressed about such quantitative questions, and under the time pressure to answer the same questions was hell lot of difficult for me. That is why I feel that my strategy during my first attempt with respect to CSAT, without giving enough practice or putting my strategy to test, was a wrongful part, and that's what I changed about my approach to CSAT in the second attempt. First of all, I gave a lot of practice to answering the CSAT question, and also my strategy changed. In my second attempt, what I did was initially, in the initial part of the examination, where I have a lot of time, I would focus on the math or the quantitative question, and by the last 40 to 45 minutes, I would come to the reading comprehension question. Now, in this case, what happens is I'm already very confident about reading comprehension, and even under time constraints, I will be able to smoothly read the paragraph and come to conclusion. And that strategy really helped me even in a difficult paper of the 2023 preliminary examination. Also, one thing that you need to really understand and try and test in the examination is how to approach the passage reading itself. So if you try to initially read the passage and then go to the question and again come to the passage, you might have to do a 2-3 rounds of reading of the passage itself to come to a conclusion. Instead, what you can do is that when you go to the passage related questions, you can first read the questions and the options given for it, and then come and read the passage, so that in the initial reading of the passage itself, you will be noting the areas which have been asked in the questions, and you can ignore the areas which have not been particularly pointed out in the question paper. Also, another thing that is important in the quantitative related question is all questions you are not meant to answer. There are questions which are to the level of IIT, JEE kind of level, which you completely need to ignore and look at aspects which are very easy. Also, real-time practice on pen and paper for the CSAT examination is important, because the rough work which you need to do for the quantitative questions, you have very little space and you can't turn a lot of pages during that time, which will also waste your time. So how and where to answer and solve the quantitative question is something that you need to get familiarized with, and doing all these things will give you that last minute confidence. And even in a situation where the examination is really tough or the pattern has changed also, you will be able to have that confidence booster to help you sail through and reach the cutoff mark. So start practicing CSAT from today if you have not been doing it so far. So morning you can go for read for GS1 paper, and when it comes to afternoon, when you are very sleepy and exactly at the timing where the CSAT examination start, try and answering questions with relation to quantitative aptitude as well as reading comprehension. That will really help you sail through the examination and face it even when it's very difficult. If you have any queries, otherwise also do let me know in the comment section. I wish you all the very best to crack the examination and come out in flying colors in the civil service examination of 2026. All the very best. Thank you so much.